So yeah, if you remember the last episode, we were de-weeding and salting the paths, the central path that goes between the two plots, the lady farmer's side and my side. I've still got a lot of clearing to do, but let's just check on how the salt did. De-weeded and salted on the pathways. Let's just check how it's, or if it's achieved its goal. So here at the threshold at the front, that's where our Bradley just poured the salt onto the weeds, and it's killing them off, as you can see there, around the threshold. But as you move up, where we actually scraped and cleared them away, we poured the salt on in between the cracks. You can see there's a bit of snow left behind, and it's right as rain. I'll just give it a brush over this morning. Missed a bit. There's very, 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 very few weeds poking the noses through. And what there are, a few and far between, as you can see there, and they're looking very weak. And they're all browned off. That carries on all the way up to the top. This hasn't been touched apart from the sort of weeding and salting last week. And on this open ground at the top there isn't a trace of fresh weed growth. He did go to town on it though, our Bradley, to be honest. He got through about 14 packets of the salt on this. But they're only like 15p each. So it's not too expensive. Comes up to about £2, something like that. But for weed killer, you're going to be talking more than that, I'm guessing. And to get this effect, I think it's pretty good. The salt's certainly doing the job by the look of it. And if you look down this path here, you can see where the greenery has turned brownery, which is what you want, isn't it? Obviously, like I said last time, we don't want to be putting the salt where you want crops to grow and you want things to grow, your flowers and your edibles. But along pathways, I think it's a good idea. Mick does it next door, so does Joe. Mick swears by it, and looking at the results that we're getting here, I can see why. But you've got to reapply it every couple of weeks. Do a clear out, reapply, do a clear out, reapply, until it's such a time as you get that sort of salination in the ground where you don't need to do it much more. It's just a matter of pricking out the odd one that comes along. But yeah, it's not bad, that, is it? I think it's done well there on the path. Good little experiment. That's what we like to see. You can see the contrast between the parts that have been salted and the ones that haven't. We stopped the salting around here, and it's a jungle still, obviously. But here, totally free. Down here, we stopped where the membrane was, and that's the contrast between the salted and the unsalted. So yeah, I think that's a winner. Good stuff. So it's definitely big pick time on the elf beans, the climbing French behind me. We've got the elf beans, and we've also got the Cabbage de Violet. Let's see what we can get from this little bush. Yeah, they definitely want taking these. Cabbage de Violet, which are these ones, the purple colour. Although some of them are a little bit patchy. They go green anyway when you cook them, but they just look a bit prettier whilst growing. But there's lots on here, tons on, because I haven't been down to the plots. There's a cornucopia to be taken, so I'm going to get one of my mushroom baskets and see what we can gather. So those are the French beans that I'm taking today. It's about, I would say there's about 4.5 pounds in weight there. About 1.5 kilos, something like that, or just over. And yeah, there's the Cosse de Violet on that side. And I think these were the elf beans that we got off Joe. But anyway, they're a bit over the size really that we want for them. But they'll still eat. They're still edible. We'll just slice them up, part boil them and freeze them, the majority. But we'll have some tonight with tea. But there are still tons on the plant. If you look up through, just lift the skirts, you'll find them. And they grow in pairs, generally speaking, these. So you'll have two sort of side by side. Let's get in there. Yeah, so two are coming off from there. And I'll just give them a bit of a nip off. Oh, drop one. Got a bit of muck on it. And yeah, that's basically all you do. Trim them up, clean them up when you get them back home. Give them a wash. Snip the ends off. Diagonal slice. Parboil and freeze. So these climbing French beans this year, I should have nipped them out really when they got to the top. But they would have kept, they're actually flopping over the top and growing back down on the outside of the canopy if you want. And they would have grown to a good 12 feet easily, these beanstalks. But yeah, climbing French beans, those, also known as fine French beans, unless those are the dwarf French ones, I'm not sure. But yeah, they're getting a little bit stringy now because I've left them on too long. You should pick them often really and keep them to a smaller size. But yeah, all good, all edible, all going in my tummy. Okay, let's get some cauliflower. I think that's the way forward. Nice little curds those on the cauliflowers behind me. We've also got some cabbage, I'll show you that in a second as well, but I'm going to get those cauliflowers out and we'll take them for processing. See you in a bit. So we've just spotted something promising in our brassica cage. Some lily white curds. So they're going to be ready. I'm thinking they're ready now for taking. I'm not going to be able to come down in the week and take them, and they'll probably be blown by the time I get my chance to come back down again. So I'm going to take these today. Yeah, parboil them and freeze them. Let's get that on. Yeah, decent little curds. I'm going to give them a wash off when I get back to get rid of all the poo. Dirty little swines. But yeah, they're looking nice, aren't they? Decent little collies. They are little. The ones that we did at the beginning of the year, that came to fruition in May, June time, beginning of May, end of May, beginning of June, were about twice that size. In fact, one of them was as big as my head. But these are not a bad little crop, little late season crop. So we did them successionally. I've not actually got any that I can put into the ground now for overwintering though, so that's a bit of a disappointment. I'll see if I can get some that have already started. I'll give Paul Green a ring. But yeah, they're looking all right. These cabbages have headed up nicely now. They're getting some nice little heads on them. And I'm going to take 3 of these. One for our family, one for me mum, and one for my sister. And yeah, they're not too bad at all, are they? Them don't seem to be ravaged as much by the slugs. In fact, I might not. I might just take the one actually. I'll take the one head because they do need a little bit more time. They're balling up, but they're not solid yet. So I'll give them another week or two. I'm going to leave the netting off because we haven't spotted, or I haven't spotted a cabbage white butterfly for a week or two now. So hopefully we're past that stage. The white fly are going to be on these though, but there's not much I can do about that at the moment. They don't really do that much devastation, the white fly, to be fair, but you do need to just wash everything, obviously, wash your veg before you consume it. Get rid of any nasties, any bugs. But yeah, I'll leave that open, I think. I'm going to be taking those out tomorrow. And and maybe harvesting some of the leaf off them. If you look at the leaf on the cabbage and you look at the leaf on the cauliflower, it's very similar, and it tastes very similar. You know what I mean? You can eat practically every part of the cauliflower plant. They're all brassicas. They're in the brassica family. So yeah, there's nothing to stop you. We do it quite regularly. We will take broccoli leaf and we'll take cauliflower leaf and use that in soups and stuff like that. Perfectly good for you. Here they are, and the last really of the cucumbers. I'm going to take them, and then obviously we're going to be clearing out in here. We have got some tomatoes though that are still coming on. I want to check these, and yeah, they seem to be okay. Alicante, those ones. Still got a few on. But my plan is really for September to clear these out and make space for the winter crops that are going to be going into here. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening, I think. Might take those off and see if they'll ripen up off the plant like we've done with these ones. I might take them home though because it's very buggy in here. We're also going to be taking the basket of fire, because they're all ready now really. I want to take a harvest of the basket of fire hot chilies. But yeah, let's get these off. My little boys will be appreciating those. So there's the cucumbers from the lady farmer's greenhouse. We've got 6 there, various sizes. I've just spotted this plant growing at the side of the tiki hut. That's the tiki hut, my big solar powered shed. But that's looking like it could be sweet corn. Maybe a couple of wayward kernels have come off, dropped on the ground there, and actually sprouted roots. That looks like a sweet corn plant to me, or a couple of sweet corns that are sprouting through. If it's not, it's very, very, very similar to sweet corn. I think that's sweet corn. That's obviously volunteered itself to grow here in the stones. It's not going to come to anything. We're not going to get any corns off it, but I just thought I'd show you that. It's yeah, nature in action. So I'm currently in the 6mm clear twin wall polycarbonate traditional greenhouse, which was the first one that I built up at the top. And we've got some tomatoes in here as well, and they're looking pretty good. In fact, they're looking the best of the bunch. I'll show you. Hope we can make this out okay. But yeah, there's plenty. These are the sun gold, which we do favour. They're really tasty tomatoes. And what I'm noticing on here is there's not too much in the way of splitting. And bug attack, the leaves are looking nice. Yeah, we've got different sorts of tomatoes. We've got some super sweet 100 in there as well. We've got these over here, which, to be honest with you, I can't remember what they are, but we've got them. Still a jungle as ever. Everything's a flaming jungle, and I nearly said frigging then. But it is. It's well overgrown, and I'm going to be getting issues, definite issues, because we've got fungal issues there. So I'm going to have to tidy all these up, sort them all out, and have a good clear out. But I'm going to be harvesting these today to take home for the kids. And I'll take these onions as well, because they're cured off now. I'll check them, see if they're all alright. Any ones that are looking a bit suspicious and dodgy, like this one perhaps at the back. May get discarded, that one. Don't like the look of him. That discoloration on the base there, I don't like it. I'm a harsh taskmaster, aren't I? But these ones look fine and dandy. Just giving them a good squeeze, making sure none of them have gone soft. And yeah, so we'll do a bit of quality control on them. These were the ones from the beginning of the year. These were the ones that we did. These are the Stuttgarter that we did this year, and they've cured off. These were the overwintering ones. These were the Senshu, Japanese Senshu. These were grown over winter last year, and I'm going to be starting some off this year as well. Getting some of those in. But I'm going to take these, get them home, get them used, pass them out amongst the family, get them in storage. Alright, so the basket of fire chilies are ready to be taken. I'm going to mooch my way through, and any dodgy ones discard, and any good ones like that one keep. And we're going to be sewing those together and stringing them up. But they're very hot, or at least I think they're very hot. Me and James had a little nibble of one of them the other day, and it was very hot for us. It's about 80,000 on the Scoville scale, which is the sort of temperature or hotness scale that they tend to use for chilies. These are 80,000, but they felt like they were hotter. But we're going to harvest them anyway and see what we get. Okay, now that's from one plant. That plant, there's still a few left on there, probably about 30 dotted about. But there's a couple of 100 chili peppers in there of the basket of fire. That's the other plant, so I'm going to clean them both off to that standard, and then we'll see what we've got. Alright, so there's our basket of fire harvest. A couple of tomatoes there that have been ripening off the vine that I've took as well. And those are the picked bushes. I've left a few on. We could potentially get some seeds off them later down the line, but they're not looking too clever, so I'm leaving them on. The ripe ones I'm taking, and we're going to be processing those and doing something with them at least. But yeah, they are hot. They're hot for us. I'm not a very spicy person. I don't love spices, to be honest. I don't like it too hot. But yeah, we'll see what we can do with them. Yeah, not a bad little harvest haul today. I'll show you. So we've got a small cabbage. We've got 7 small cauliflowers. I love cauliflower as well, by the way. There's a massive bag full of onions there. Was it 6 cucumbers? All those French beans underneath. The Cosse de Violet and the elf beans. We've got the, various types of tomatoes. Super Sweet 100, and my favourite, the Sun Gold. We've got some eating peppers as well. I've just picked some of these ones because they're not going to get to much more than that, and there's still a load left on the plants, but these are just like munching peppers, little snack peppers. Corno di Toro and bell peppers. Loads of chilies, some more tomatoes there. I just picked a few money maker for the weekend for salads. We've got some, well, we've got one big zucchini or yellow courgette there. Yeah, not bad at all. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be doing some processing videos and some, you know, how to store and preserve for the winter months. So we'll be getting a bit of that done this weekend with any luck. But I've still got tons of clearing and tons of weeding to do, so bear with me if I don't do those preservative videos. We are going to be doing it. We are going to be sort of having to process some of this veg and get it stored properly. So we'll be doing some pickling, we'll be doing some parboiling and freezing. And storing the onions, stringing them, doing the same, the sort of stitch stringing with the peppers, the chili peppers. And there you go. We're not going to be doing any chutneys, I don't think. Although it would be a cracking idea, wouldn't it? There's plenty of chutney videos about though. But yeah, we're going to be preserving a lot of this food that we're taking at the moment. Harvest time now, so there's quite a bit to take from the land. But you need to preserve it over winter. Especially if you're me and you didn't get your arse in gear to get them winter crops in. A bit late now. I'm going to see, actually, do a bit of research. In fact, put in the comments below, if you don't mind, if there's anything that we can sow and start off in October, November, December, in the run up to Christmas. Leafy greens, I believe you can do. So we'll just give us some hints and tips, if you don't mind, on that. All right, take care of yourselves, boys and girls, and each other. And if I don't see you through the week, I'll see you through the window. I've been Guru MURPHINDA. You've been beautiful, fantastic, and fragrant as ever. And we love you all. All right. Take care now. Bye-bye now.